Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Power Mech Projects Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Nirmal Bang Equities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Mayank Bhandari from Nirmal Bang Equities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Inba. Nirmal Bang Equities welcomes you all to the Q2 FY22 results conference call of Power Mech Projects Limited. The management is represented by Mr. S.K. Ramaiah, Director Business Development, and Mr. J. Satish, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. S. Rohit, Vice President, BD and Operations. I now hand over the call to the management for their opening remarks, post which we can take questions from participants. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayank, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for joining the earnings conference call for the quarter and half year ended 30th September 2021. Before I begin, I would like to wish you a happy new year and hope that you and your family are keeping safe. Along with me, I have Mr. Sajja Rohit, Vice President, Business Development and Operations, son of Mr. Kishore Babu, CMD, Mr. S.K. Ramaiah, Director Business Development, and SGA, our Investor Relations Advisor. I hope you have had the chance to review the investor presentation and financial results, and also you can view this on the stock exchange and even on our company's website. The recent month started on the back of winning large O&M orders totaling around rupees 725 crore, strengthening our order book in O&M and opening revenues for widening in comprehensive O&M space. In addition to MDO order for 25 years worth of rupees 9,294 crore, which can support to generate higher margins with sustainable revenue for a longer period. While quarter 1 FY22 was affected due to adverse impacts on second wave, quarter 2 saw the situation improving drastically with the ramp up in vaccination numbers across the country and even at our site. We continue to follow all necessary guidelines to safeguard our employees at all our sites, as well as ensuring that construction and maintenance operations are running smoothly. To update you with this quarter's development before we open up for the floor for your question and answer session. The reported total income for quarter 2 FY22 is rupees 544 crore, and the EBITDA is rupees 63 crore, and reported PAT is around rupees 27 crore. Whereas quarter 2 of last financial year, the total income was rupees 347 crore. The reported EBITDA was negative by 40 crore, and the PAT was negative by rupees 52 crore net of minority interest. The revenue mix for quarter 2 is as follows. Erection business has contributed rupees 106 crore, civil around rupees 223 crore, operation and maintenance close to rupees 188 crore, and the electrical business added close to 23 crore, and other income close to 5 crore. In the same quarter in the previous year, the mechanical business contributed 88 crore, whereas civil we did around 101 crore, operation and maintenance contributed 146 crore, and electrical business contributed close to 11 crore. The performance has been in line with our projected numbers, keeping in mind the heavy rainfall in several regions and is in line with predetermined estimates. In addition to the quarterly performance meeting estimate, we would like to highlight the annual guidance given earlier still continues to be on track and will be met on all parameters. This is further expected to solidify on the foundation of a strong order book, recent order win, and a healthy pipeline of orders identified by our business development team. The overall target for the year remains intact, and the execution level for quarter 3 and quarter 4 for the year will continue to be higher compared to quarter 1 and quarter 2, like any previous year in the journey of 42 years. As said in the previous call as well, Power Mech has risen to the fore and developed a high bandwidth in terms of infrastructure and capability to execute crucial projects in the range of rupees 600 crores to 850 crores per quarter, and the credentials and over time enabled us to bid for and execute projects on its own merit and capabilities without partnering with large players. This saving in royalty cost would benefit the margins going forward and be a true reflection of the effort put over the past few years. Margin profile expected to go up gradually in midterm. Increasing O&M competency base will help increasing margins to a great extent. In addition, once the MDO project gets operational, operating margins are expected to go up further. Talking about finance costs, they have been steadily decreasing as a result of lot of measures being taken by the management in terms of debt utilization as compared to previous quarters. Overall, the utilization of debt for the period quarter 2 FY22 is comparatively low, though the closing net debt is higher by around rupees 28 crore compared to 31st March 2021 on account of support to new projects like UP Water project, Tuticorin O&M project, mobilization etc. However, average utilization for the period remains lower. And coming to the receivable cycle, it is ranging between 70 days to 75 days, excluding BHEL, and with BHEL it is around 80 days plus. Improvement is further expected in the working capital cycle with the change in the business mix and the customer mix. More interestingly, the monthly collection continues to be very healthy in the range of rupees 190 crores to 230 crores per month, and this is expected to further go up post quarter 3. The company has generated positive cash flow from operation during the first half, which is around 22 crores, and we are expecting this trend to continue further. The order backlog for the company stands at rupees 6,515 crores as on 30th September 2021, and order backlog as on today, including the projects in L1 status, of around rupees 547 crores. That stands at rupees 8,337 crores. Excluding the MDO order, which is included, it makes around 17,631 crores. So even at a modest execution rate, now that the monsoon season is over, therefore we're expecting the growth momentum to continue and more than deliver on our set targets and outline. This forms a strong base for our confidence going forward with a good liquidity position, healthy order book, measures in place to manage projects in the uncertain environment. I request Mr. Sardar Rohit to add to more development. Mr. Rohit?
Hello?
Yeah, Rohit. Please listen.
I hope I'm audible. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Satish, and thanks a lot for also highlighting a few aspects of business development activities that we have done over the last few quarters. I just add to whatever you said.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Rohit. If you're on speaker mode, can you switch it to a handset, please, and speak? Your voice is sounding a bit muffled.
I'm not on speaker mode. I'm using the handset.
Okay, this is a little better. Thank you. You may go ahead, sir.
A little better. Okay. So, by the beginning of this financial year, we already had an order booking of around orders to be executed of around 7,300 crores. And in the first 2 quarters, we have bagged orders worth 2,300 crores, around 2,300 crores. And our previous trends suggested we'll be booking. Our target for this year is around 4,400 to 5,000 crores. A healthy order book that will help us maintain our EBITDA margins, if not increase our EBITDA margins a little bit. So we are targeting to add around 2,500 to 3,000 crores more in the next 2 quarters in Q3 and Q4. So this is a little bit about an overview of the business development. And we are also targeting a few new sectors. So we are already present in the power plant O&M sector. So we have already taken up our first non-power sector O&M project with IOC and Haldia, and we are expecting a few more orders there. And we see this is one other industry that you'll be hearing more often going forward, because we see a lot of potential in this. We see a lot of potential in this industry. And apart from non-power sector O&M, we are also focusing a lot on the overseas business.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The voice is.
Thanks for reconnecting. So I was talking about this guidance for the overseas business. So we also see a lot of potential for both the power sector O&M and non-power sector O&M in the overseas market, especially in GCC and Africa, and that's where we will be focusing on this. We believe it's going to be one of the first regions for us for the next 5 to 7 years. There's still a lot of scope for us to grab market opportunities here. That's pretty much it from my side. I'm handing it over to Satish again.
Yeah, Mike, you can take it forward for this question and answer session.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session.
Mike, you wanted to take it, Mr. Ramaya sir also?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Ramaya is there, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, sir, can you just add on this the opportunity pipeline?
Mr. Ramaya, sir, would you like to add a few opening remarks, sir?
Yeah, Ramaya here. Thanks, Rohit and Satish and the Nirmal Bang team and the participants. A few updates on the what has been told by Satish and Rohit is, I think the main aspect which has been is that there have been new territories and new customers which have added to the organization's profile. And then there is a lot of upswing on the O&M scope of the work, which has gone up by almost 36%. And the present backlog of 8,337, it bodes well for the organization's growth in the next 2 quarters and also the next year. And as far as the broad breakup of this order breakup is that the domestic segment constitutes about 88% based on September backlog, and 5,737 crores. And it, as on today, November, this backlog has also improved substantially to 7,552 crores. And the power sector business continues to be there because of the O&M and the many jobs we are doing in the civil side and other mechanical side and other things. It is, as on today, it is around 5,359 crores, 64%, and the non-power side is 2,977 crores. I think all these combination of the businesses, what has happened is that the key things which have happened in the current year had been the major breakthrough in Singareni, which happened in the first quarter. The Adani Road project, which has happened recently, 645 crores, and then Udungudi, we are L1 there, 345 crores for the civil works. Then there is a major breakthrough in 2 into 600 megawatt Coastal Energo Private Limited, a 5-year O&M contract, 391 crores. And the new entry what we have made is in NMDC with 2 jobs worth of 146 crores. And another breakthrough what we got in the EPC segment is the Talavera in continuation to the Purmita job what we took last year about 80 crores. And then the first time we have entered in a bigger way in the FGD segment at Kehalgaon civil and structural work for 4 into 210 megawatt FGD package 112 crores. And then about 15 to 16 O&M repair jobs have been taken in the first quarter, about 34 crores. And then a major breakthrough in the desalination plant O&M jobs in the export sector. I think these are the positive things which have happened. And as far as the operation, as per the manpower is concerned, it has come back to the normal. In fact, what was the peak down of 8,000 has come to almost 13,500 in the construction labor is concerned. And the O&M is fully manned with over 11,600 people, and the rest of the around 10,500 belongs to the Power Mech group, both in the domestic sector and then international sector. Today, the total headcount of temporary workers, permanent staff, engineers, supervisors, and also the exceeds about 30,000. That means the resource management has been augmented and it is catering to the new expansions and the new segment of the business. And that is a key aspect of the growth which we can look at it. And one more few things what I can say is that on the O&M particularly, today we have substantially made inroads into the IPP sector and also the public sector, government sector. In government sector, perhaps we as we know already explained, NTPC we are doing in 5 jobs and the Singareni job which has been added recently. Now the focus will be to continue to see what is the balance we can do at the IPP sector and more focus on the private public sector, because the total installed base in the public sector is substantial. Therefore, 1,49,000 megawatt if installed base is there, that is a segment which has to be tapped. And then the opportunities, as Rohit was telling, in non-power sector, we have to look at the infrastructure side aligned in line with the national infrastructure pipeline on the various infrastructure, and then in oil and gas sector, refinery sector, and then new segment what we added in the mining sector and also ore and coal handling plants on a turnkey basis. And the opportunities which are definitely going to come up because of the investments coming in the petrochemicals and then fertilizers and then steel plants. Steel plants also a lot of growth is there. We have already started the business couple of years back. We have to look at more opportunities there. Therefore, as on today, we are on tracking about 25,000 crores of jobs in different segments in erection, non-power, civil, infrastructure, electrical, exports, O&M, then water systems also. Water system is another important thing because the drinking water scheme for everybody, and that is we are already there doing about 1,200 crores of jobs. Therefore, this is where we have to carry forward, and some of the new initiatives what we have taken on the EPC should see how we are going to perform. That is a new beginning for the organization, and also tying up with some of the leading engineering companies in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So may we open the lines for questions now?
Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question may press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have the first question from the line of Faisal Hawa from H.G. Hawa & Company. Please go ahead. Mr. Faisal Hawa, please go ahead with the question, sir.
Yeah. Sir, during this last 2 to 3 months of crisis for coal, did we see a lot of pressure from Coal India Limited to really, evacuate the coal urgently? And do you feel that this could lead to more privatization of or outsourcing of coal mines, and there could be more orders for our company going forward? And second, sir, which are the other vehicles you feel that a lot of orders would come in? Are we doing something for railways also?
Yeah. I think that is correct also, because coal is a base fuel and a base load station continues to play a role in spite of the lot of pressure going to be to treat coal as a dirty fuel. But it is a base load in this country, and even the recent COP26 Glasgow meeting also, India has not given any concessions on the coal, this one. Therefore, the pressure will be there for availability of coal in the private sector. In fact, many of the private players have already taken. Recently we have taken a job from Adani at Talabira, that is a small, in association with ThyssenKrupp. And our guesstimate is that Coal India is also doing the mine side. Mine side, there is a lot of opportunities in mechanization of the plant. Only 25% of the coal mined by Coal India is mechanized. Balance 75% is not mechanized. They are looking at it. And the new mines also being developed by the private players also, there will be two types of opportunities. One is the mine side coal handling, and then the coal handling in the end user side. So the estimation is that about 25 to 40,000 crores of opportunities should be available, not only in the coal side, but the similar facilities in the iron ore and mineral processes also.
So how are we tying up with NMDC, sir, on the iron ore side?
Pardon?
On the iron ore side, what is the nature of our tie-up with NMDC?
No, NMDC, we are doing two jobs we have taken up. That is in the Kirandul. That is mainly the civil works on the expansion, what they are doing in the iron ore beneficiation and then crushing and screening unit. That is what we have done. We are also done we are in the process of bidding and evaluating the offers of around 800 900 crores with NMDC for the Bacheli plant. And that type of iron ore beneficiation and then other minerals, these type of plants are expected to be future. And we are having a tie-up with ThyssenKrupp on one side, and with another company, FL Smith, we have got two tie-ups. And we have to see how to use these tie-ups for the future opportunity.
And sir, about the railways, or are we looking at other infrastructure opportunities which are going to come up? Any other new verticals?
The infrastructure, as I told we are tracking nearly 20 total out of the total 25,000 megawatts. The infrastructure segment is substantial in civil non-power, about 11,000 crores, which is a combination of the water systems there, then drinking water system there, sewage treatment plants, then roads, and then railways. We are already there in the electrical side and also electrification side, and also doing the railway track doubling and other jobs. Therefore, we have got references now, and railways expansions continue to be there. Their investment, as you know, it is exceeding 1 lakh crore per annum. And the other opportunities in the infrastructure mainly propelled by the NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline, that is going to be there. Therefore, we have seen the success, like in Adani, we have taken 655 crores of job recently in Telangana. That type of opportunities will be there, and we are tracking this totally around 11,000 crores in infrastructure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Any participant who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. Our next question is from the line of Rajnath Yadav from Choice Equity Broking. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunities, and congratulations for reporting a relative better set of numbers for the quarter. I have a couple of questions. The first one is related to the MDO project. So my query is basically how the equity funding will be done, and what will be the mode of funding for other capex related to these projects. And so And the second question is on the execution rate guidance, which was provided in the earlier quarter conference call. So how confident is the company in achieving those levels, especially for the rest of the year?
Yeah. This Satish here. See, this MDO project now in the approval and the planning stage. So probably by next 8 to 9 months, we're expecting that the clearances will be in place. And this is expected to be developed over a period of 2.5 years to 3 years. So the funding, the main source will be, of course, the internal accrual, because the way we have set up our growth plan, number one, and the finance bills and reconciliation, which we are expecting that to come over a period of time. We are envisaging equity of close to 100 crores for this project over a period of 3 years. And of that, 74% will be included by Power Mech and 26% by our technical partner. 24 crores we have mapped from our internal accrual. Of course, if we need to look for some external options, we will always look. So, but as of now, the plan is well set to infuse some liquid accrual for next three years. And in terms of the guidance, what we have given, we are absolutely on track. As we said, the execution, the bandwidth for any quarter is well set, 550 to 850 crores. And you would have seen that last quarter of FY21, the quarter 4 itself, we demonstrated 150 crores of top line. And we planned 600 crores for the first quarter, and we did 620. And for the second quarter, we set a target of 550, 560 crores, and we are very close to that number. And quarter 2, quarter 3, the target what we have set well in control. So we are very confident that the overall guidance what we have given, it is on track.
Okay. Sir, one query related to MDO. Sir, you said that total equity funding will be 100 crores and it will be deployed over 3 years, and company stake is 74%.
As per the plan.
But if I go 1 quarter back, and I believe in the, if I'm not wrong, in the earlier conference call, it was said that total capex will be around 280 crores, and of that 80 crores will be for equity funding, and rest will be for the capex related to this project. So my only concern is that how the residual amount, that is a capex amount, will be funded, because most of the CFO will be operating cash flow will be deployed as a equity funding and for capex for the existing project. So how much will be left for this? How much will be left for the capex for this project from the internal accruals, and how well we are positioned to get a finance, outside finance?
Yeah. See, that total, the project cost, it will vary 250 to 300 crores over a period of 2.5 to 3 years. So the 100 crores is the equity component which we are planning for next 2.5 years. Now, as of now, this is only capex project, okay, where we need to look for some investment. So this may be well within our internal accrual. Probably when we grow, okay, we look for some other projects, probably we need to look into. But as of now, this is the only project what we have on hand from investment perspective.
Sir, I'm not able to get it clearly. Once again, I just wanted to ask how much of the means debt funding will be means how much of the funding will be from internal and from outside fund. If you can elaborate this.
See what I'm trying to say, sir, the total development for this project, this 2.5 years, we need to infuse one equity, and the second is the external debt. Project 100 plus 220 crores, that would be the total capex, okay, over a period of 2.5 to 3 years. So the 100 crores of equity, that's a combination of Power Mech and the JV partner. Of that, 74% will be from Power Mech side, and the 24% share will be from the JV partner.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Abhishek Poddar from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. Sir, are you also bidding for renewable projects now?
No, renewable projects, yes. Maybe as a sort of tie-up through Adani or agencies like that. On our own, we are not doing it, but we will look at the opportunities as and when it comes. But we have to look at these things as a future.
Okay, so at present you are not bidding, or you have not bid at present, sir?
No, we have given some sort of a support bid to as an initial thing to Adani people. We have to see how it takes shape.
Okay, and this will be solar and...
Yeah.
Okay, and what will be the plan going ahead? Would you continue to give support?
That is a question of investment. Then, we have to take the role of a developer, like what we have taken in the case of MDO. Therefore, similar role we have to take up. That has to be, as a business policy, we have to decide on that.
Okay, sorry, I'm not clear. So, you want to be a developer here, you're saying?
Yeah, at this
Can
stage,
I pitch in? Ramani sir, can I pitch in quickly for this? Yeah. So to answer your question precisely, yes, we are looking for opportunities in the renewable sector, and we did bid for a couple of projects, and they weren't supported or anything. We wanted to execute them. We couldn't compete with the already incumbent players, so we just had to cede to competition. But we are looking for opportunities in the renewable sector, primarily solar energy for now. So either as a developer or not, we don't want to enter the EPC space in this business. It's either as a developer or on build, own, office and transfer basis, something like that.
Okay.
I hope I'm clear.
What kind of equity participation and hurdle rates are you looking at here in the sector?
Probably Satish sir, can you pitch in to answer this question?
Of course, the hurdle rate, which is in the range of minimum 16 to 18%, that is what our expectation.
Okay.
And there could be anything around 100, 120 crores to start with. Yeah.
Okay. So any amount of total exposure that you have in mind if you go there?
So we are exploring multiple. Okay. Given a good chance, probably we'll look into. So the maximum the equity size at any time, okay, max of 120 crores. Beyond that, we are not looking now. So we have to work a reverse formula how much the funding is possible and 120 crores outflow from our side. That's the reverse we are working. Right.
So 120 crore is like your share of the JV.
You're right.
And we would be like the minority partner in that JV, that way.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, regarding the margins, if I look at, pre-COVID, you were in the range of 12 to 13%. And we have recovered, but still we are at 10-11%. What is the outlook there?
The margins, yes, as you rightly pointed, the margin profile used to be 12.5-13% historically. Now it's in the range of 11.5%. So the COVID-related cost still continues to be there because we have directly, indirectly 20,000 employees working offshore and onshore. So some of the safety-related cost still around 0.2-0.3% is strictly going towards safety rate because that we cannot ignore. Maybe another 6 months we can see that cost comes down, number one. Number two, some of the projects, as even I mentioned in previous call, like because of the change in the business mix and the supply component is slightly has gone up because of the increase in the civil fire. And recent past would have seen that the steel prices have normally gone up. Of course, our contribution, our mix is hardly 20-25% of the total component. So there is small impact of cost 0.2-0.3% because of this material component. So we are seeing that probably maybe next 6 months or maybe 9 months, going forward, we'll see that some improvement in the margin profile. One is minimizing the safety-related cost, and now the steel price, all the big bid whatever you are submitting, they are factoring the revised cost. And number three, most important factor is like the royalty which we are using for the railway projects, steel, petrochemical, some of the projects where we were not having the credentials. Now we are built enough credentials. That will straightly save us 2 to 3% at EBITDA level. Now the new projects, whatever we are quoting, so we need not go with for a JV partner. These all will help us to push the margin profile.
And this 2 to 3% benefit of royalties will start come in 2-3 quarters time.
Yes, sir. We'll see that maybe 6 to 9 months forward, the margin profile will see that it's improving.
Okay. Sir, last time in the previous call, we had given a guidance of order inflows of close to 4,500 crores. What is the update there? And also on the execution, any total execution, how much do we expect this year and next year?
The order target, we have kept it close to 4,000 to 4,500. Okay, now up to date, including the L1 of 150 crores, close to 2,200 crores already in place. Now the way the projects and the bidding, the projects in pipeline, taking in consideration maybe 3,500 to 4,000 crores, it looks to be very comfortable. If at all there is a spillover, maybe in April another 500 crores, maybe a spillover. But the way it looks like the order target close to 3,500 to 4,000 is quite possible, number one. Number two, the execution, if you take the conversion to the opening backlog, it used to be 40 to 42% in a year. So if you take even 36 to 38% conversion to my opening order book, close to 2,600 crores, we should be able to comfortably achieve this year. Maybe 3,000 plus next year is quite comfortable. Because by the time we add 3,500 to 4,000, the backlog will cross 8,500 crores. If I take a conversion of even 35-36%, it's quite a comfortable number of crossing 3,000 is quite possible.
Okay, so next year you're saying it will be 3,000 crores or a little higher than that. And that does not include MDO because that is under development for 2 years.
Yeah, so now the order book, what we have got is like on hand, and the project which are in pipeline taking 3 years, the visibility is quite comfortable.
Right. And sir, just last question, any guidance on the working capital, how it is has changed and how it is going to change for the end of the year? And on your debt side, how that will change?
So working capital, if you see that net current days is coming down, it was like almost like 195 days if you see 31st March 2021, that has come down to close to 170. Okay. Mainly the receivable, which is like 70-75 days, but if you add BHL, it's coming 90 days plus. So we are seeing a reduction of 10 to 15 days in receivable because the mix is going to change, number one. Number two, the pile of BHL is coming down. So this 75 days with BHL of 90 days may come down to 80 or maybe 78 days. That is what we are expecting. And debt side, we are closely monitoring the debt utilization. At any point of time, it's around 480, 490 crores of debt. That is what the utilization now. Maybe the plan is to bring down by another 40 or 50 crores by year end. That is what we are working every down to liquidate close to 8 to 9 crores on average every month. So that will help us to bring down the debt level.
Okay. Sir, could you please repeat the BHEL outstanding? How much is it in September? BHEL outstanding, sorry.
Around 100 to 130, 130, 140 crores.
Okay, that's the retention money or total outstanding?
Total, including BHEL, micro project.
Okay, 140 is the total outstanding, including retention.
If you take retention, that will add another, put together will be close to 200 crores plus. Because the project, because once the project is completed, there is the warranty. So at any point of time, some components of retention will be there, and BHEL used to be predominant there in our revenue base. Okay, this has come down to 16 to 18%, but if you see 1-2 years back, it used to be almost like 22-23%. So that component will be there, and you will see that this number is coming down every year.
Right, and the age of this 200 crore is 90 days roughly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So comparatively higher as compared to other customers.
Yeah.
But it's healthy because we have not seen any threat or issues as far as BHL is concerned, because we have been working with them for almost 20 years. So though there is slight delay, but still it's healthy.
Okay. So how is the movement in the quarter for BHEL debtors?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat?
I'm saying that between June and September, how is the outstanding to BHEL moved?
It's today's status, sir, whatever I've told. Okay. So it used to be 100 days. Now it has come down to 90. Okay. And with the closure of the domestic project, because My3 is a fast track project, with the closure of the domestic project, that may slightly come down to 80 or 75 days also, gradually by year end.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Best of luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take a next question from the line of Rishikesh Oza from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. So my question was, so given that we can be maintaining around 200 to 50 a month kind of run rate, so fair to say Q3 will be more than 600 easy. Our Q4 should resemble similar to Q4 of
Mr. Oza, I'm sorry, if you're on hands-free mode, could you please hold the microphone closer to you? Your voice is kind of fluctuating, sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So I was saying on an execution level, we are saying that we're maintaining around 200 to 250 a month. Okay, so on a Q3, we'll be crossing, will it be fair to say Q3 will be crossing more than 600 easily? And in Q4, it should resemble to Q4 of FY21.
You're right, sir. Definitely Q3 should contribute a larger number, and Q4, if you compare any quarter, in our 20 years journey, it always used to be the highest quarter, because there is always a pressure from the customer side also. So we see both the numbers slightly at higher side. So that's where we are confident that the overall target is still remains intact. Okay, there will be no change.
Okay, and also, sir, like, isn't it a bit conservative? Okay, like,
Mr. Oza, I'm sorry, we are not able to hear you very clearly, sir.
Okay. Okay, is it better?
Yes, you may go ahead.
Okay, so on FY23 execution levels of 3,000, isn't it a bit conservative, like given our execution levels of 38 and even historic levels of 40%, shouldn't we cross it around like more than 3,300 levels?
Sir, see, you would have seen the communication from Power Mech management always like what we can achieve minimum. Because the conversion to my opening order book is always used to be 40% plus, and I've taken a conversion of hardly 34%. And there is every possibility that we can even push it to 40%, but the number what we are saying is 3,000 plus is quite comfortable. There is every scope to improve.
Okay. And also a clarification, sir, when will our MDO revenue start flowing into the P&L?
It will start coming from FY24, sir, because small revenue will see coming from 24 onwards.
Okay, and what margins are we going to have?
Because it's a capex nature, okay, the EBITDA will be on average 18 to 22%.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Mayank Bhandari from Nirmal Bang. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I just wanted to understand, firstly, how is the situation in the Bangladesh? So we were expecting quite a lot of projects from there, like the capacity expansion is slated to happen, and gas and coal-fired plants will come up. So how is the situation there? Can you throw some light, or are we expecting more orders there? And how is the execution of Maitri project happening? How much is left there?
Rohit, can you address this? Hello?
Hello? Hello? I think that hello?
It looks like Mr. S. Rohit's line is disconnected. We'll request you to please remain connected while we try to rejoin him to the call.
Mike, can you repeat once again question, please? I could not make out.
Sir, basically I wanted to understand the opportunity bucket in the Bangladesh particularly, as well as what is the status of the Maitri project.
Okay. Ramaya here. Satish, let me see what I can explain that. You see, Bangladesh is going to be bullish as far as the investments are concerned in power sector, both on the coal side and gas side, because their plan for the end of the decade is from present 21,000 to 30,000 megawatts. And we have completed Bola, 225 megawatts. Earlier we have done Beramara, that is also 385 megawatts. Our presence is there. In Maitri, we have done 37% of the work so far out of 855 crores. And this year our planned turnover is around 250 crores. Therefore, there is going to be investments from a variety of EPC players, both from India and maybe Japanese and other people. We have been following all these things, and we are quite bullish on the opportunities in Bangladesh for the next couple of years.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, you may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. We have a question from the line of Anurag Patil from Roha Asset Managers. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, out of our order book excluding MDO, what percentage will be the fixed order contract?
I think about 50-50 you can say.
50%.
Because some of the recent projects what we have taken, the infrastructure, they're all with the price variation clause are applicable. Then most of the BHF projects are on firm price. What we are doing, GIVET jobs, what we are doing is also on the firm price. But in the Adani recently, what we have taken 650 crores, that is with a price variation for the road job.
Okay. And sir, if the commodity prices shoot up again from the current level, so do you see any major impact on the margins going ahead?
Yeah, to some extent we have covered up. In the case of Dolvi, we almost completed the investment cycle, our capital, almost projects are committed. The two jobs what we have taken recently from Adani, one is Kurmitar, about 202 crores. There will be some impact. To some extent we can cover it up. And then the other job what we have taken, it fully covers up the latest steel prices. And the major impact will be where we do pure steel work, structural work, there can be some impact. But in the case of civil works, more or less we have covered up the impacts, whatever is the rises which have taken place recently in all the new jobs. That we have to manage it, how to cover it up. Maybe after some time we will approach the customer where there are issues.
Okay, sir. And just one clarification on FY22 revenue guidance, I just missed the number. Can you just repeat?
Sir, we were targeting close to 2,600 crores.
Okay. Okay, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any participant who has a question may enter star and 1. As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the floor back to Mr. Mayank Bhandari for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, from Nirmal Bang Equities, I would like to thank the management for giving us valuable insight. And do you have any closing comments, sir?
Yeah, that's all, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, members of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on
Thank you.
behalf of Nirmal Bang Equities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.